Well, it looks like um, net neutrality is getting it's going to get hit here. It looks like it. We are. It either already happened or it's in the midst of happening. Now, usually, a lot of these things have like deadlines or kind of official dates when it starts and stuff like that. But this is most definitely a negative thing. Right? There's nothing good about this. Right? This is not good news. And let me tell you who should be worried about this. All right, when it comes to net neutrality getting killed. All right, if if you live in an area, and this is a lot of people, where your internet options are very limited, meaning that there are some places where you have really one fast speed internet option, maybe two, maybe three. This is going to impact you even more, right? It may be less of an impact on people that have multiple options. It's still going to impact you, but less of an impact because you're going to have options, right? So if you feel one service provider isn't giving you what you need, um, then you can always go with another provider, right? Now, right now, I'm only talking about the consumers, all right? This is going to have a profound impact on, you know, people, just users in this way, okay? Regardless of where you are. With net neutrality gutted, with that gutted, that basically means that the gatekeepers, and that's a term that's been used, not a term I came up with, but I like the term. It's they are the gatekeepers to the internet. Like if you want access to the internet, not only do you have to pay a service provider for it, but even after you pay them, if a certain website you like is not playing ball with them, whether if they don't like them politically, if they're not paying them, if they're not, gonna pay the bribe that is being put in front of them, whatever website that is, then that website you like is going to be a lot slower than what you're used to. And if you want to use that website at regular speeds, you're going to have to pay extra for that. Now, it may not be a lot. It might be another $2 or whatever it is for this website to work faster for you. But keep in mind, this is a way of them nickeling and diming you. Out of all the other things you have to pay in life, here they are trying to make an extra dollar or two out of you. All right. And that's being generous if that's the case. Who else is this going to impact? This is going to impact a lot of small businesses, okay, that run businesses through the internet. If you've gone out of your way to create your own website, you've paid somebody to design the website for you, or you have the talent to do it yourself, and you worked hard for a website, and you run the website, you pay whether it's a monthly or yearly fee for the URL and all that. That's not going to be enough anymore. It's not going to be enough anymore. Do you want access to the fast lane or the slow lane? Do you want the lane where, like, once people click on your website, it goes there right away? Or the one where it's kind of taking an extra minute or two just to load the home page? Or how about you flat out, users from a specific internet providers just don't have access to your website? Well, it's not much of a free economy, is it? It's not much of that, right? There is something wrong with that. If you are someone, let's say, look at YouTube, right? Many YouTubers come on here and let's put AdSense aside, because YouTube's already fucking us over with AdSense, right? But let's put that aside. You just come on here as a hobby and you talk boxing. Let's say you're a fan of DStyleBoxing, right? Like, I want to go to YouTube and watch DStyleBoxing talk. Well, if YouTube is slowed down by your provider, well, you're not going to enjoy YouTube the way you're used to, especially something that requires, videos to play, right? that uses a lot more bandwidth. And if you don't believe that websites that require more bandwidth, okay, even though it's in cyberspace, by the way, but if you don't believe that these providers are not going to, try to charge more to these websites, then you're crazy. I mean, they're going to try and make like, oh, yes, sir, you do pay for the premium package in our top speeds, but unfortunately, YouTube is not included in that because YouTube uses so much broadband, sir, and so much bandwidth and so many milliseconds per, this and that per second. And because it uses so much internet, you have to pay an additional fee, sir, for YouTube. That's right. If, like, you don't think for a second, if you're a popular YouTuber, if you're a YouTuber that has like over 300,000 subscribers, and you're doing videos about how net neutrality, because they're not going to listen to me, I'm a small ass channel. I'm talking about a big channel. And you're making videos that people are having access to about how bad Comcast is and Verizon is because of net neutrality. You don't think that someone's going to have a talk with YouTube from Comcast and all them and saying, if you don't shut that channel down, now that might be reaching, but maybe it's not. If you don't shut that channel down, we're going to put you on a slow lane. What do you think YouTube's going to do? Now, that might sound petty to you, and that might sound like out of bounds, but it really isn't. It really isn't, believe it or not. Hell, it was, I forgot what major newspaper, was it, the Washington Post or New York Times? I forgot which one it was. That because there was a video that was getting AdSense. It was a white supremacist video, right? That had like 300 views. That's it. 300 people watched it. But they went on and told everybody, oh, no, look, YouTube is putting advertisements on white supremacist videos. And after that is when all the AdSense bullshit started. Now, when you look at that company was tied to a company that is YouTube has been partnering with a lot of the networks, because they're giving a lot of their AdSense money to companies like CNN and shit. Now, they're starting their new YouTube TV thing that's coming out. Okay, which they're going to be giving a bulk of their advertisement to. All right, so this is, to say that that's out of balance, it really isn't. All right, it just isn't. The ones that control and are making a profit out of the system should not be the ones making the rules. All right? That's not the way it should work. All net neutrality was, because so many people were just so stupid to understand what it was. I don't know what it is. Like, you have idiots celebrating the fact that net neutrality is getting gutted. Yes! Yes! Another Obama bullshit law! Get rid of it! Like, Obama really didn't do anything. I mean, all net neutrality was this. Keep the internet the way it is. It was already, net neutrality is already a thing. And you're not being impacted by it. You're being lied to by the people that are going to profit out of getting rid of net neutrality. But it's here, okay? It's here. Now, it doesn't mean it's over, but it means it's going to be very, very difficult to bring net neutrality back. Okay, but it's not over by a long shot. Number one, this is extremely unpopular. I think it's like 83% of people wanted to keep net neutrality. That's a big percentage. It's too low. I don't know what those other 17%, whatever it is, are thinking. I don't know what they're thinking, but it's not good. All right. It should be higher than, but it's still pretty high. Right. That is a lot of people against something. And if there's one thing that I can say is that people don't like shit to change without, like, in that way where, oh, the FCC voted on it. Like, you know, we have to get to a point here where, and it's going to be difficult to do, because every time you talk about we need to pass a law, like through Congress, we need to pass a law, and it has to be, of course, signed by the president, which is not going to happen in the next fucking few years. It's not going to happen, right? And even if we get a Democrat in office, he or she might not have the balls to do it, all right? But we need somebody, all right, that's going to make it law. That no, you cannot have slow lane. That's illegal. You cannot bribe an internet website to have to pay you more money. No, no, no. You cannot do that. And no, it cannot be changed just from a simple vote from the FCC. That has to be done. In the meantime, we have what we have, right? This is not something you're going to notice tomorrow, okay? It's not going to be like, what happened to DStyle? Nothing changed. Like, it's not going to be like that, okay? But as time passes by, okay, they're going to start to sneak this stuff in, right? They're going to come up with elaborate explanations as to why such and such website has slowed down, okay? They're going to come up with these elaborate explanations. Since they can now control the speeds per website, they could slow it down by a little bit, to where it's kind of hard to prove that they're slowing it down. I mean, there's a lot of things that they can do that they shouldn't do, and it's going to put websites in quite a spot, right? So if you have, you're going to have situations where, let's say, a host, you know how there's these websites that you can go through so they can create your website. You know, let's say GoDaddy.com, okay? Let's say your website's created through GoDaddy.com. But let's say that for whatever reason, GoDaddy.com and Comcast just aren't getting along. You know, they're just not getting along, and they're going to slow down any website tied to GoDaddy.com, all right? But then what they're going to do is they're going to work with another host that will give you the opportunity to start the website with this other host, and it'll be cheaper than what it is, or maybe a little more than what you're paying with GoDaddy.com, but your website's going to run a lot faster. And little do you know that maybe these hosts are actually owned by Comcast, by Verizon. But you see, they're going to put them, if you don't think they're going to put themselves in position to make as much money as possible, to screw over as many independent websites as possible, then you're crazy, right? Of course, they're going to do that. I mean, put yourself in their position. If you had that power and you knew it's going to make you millions of dollars and it's legal to do it, because they've said it's not moral in my opinion, but it's legal. You know, would you not do it? Would you not even do it a little bit? Like if you were in charge of Comcast, because it could work many ways. Look, I don't like the alt-right. I have a lot of issues with the alt-right. But do I think that Breitbart.com should have a right to exist? Yes. I don't agree with none of the shit they say practically, but they should have a right to exist. We shouldn't slow down their lane. They own their website, and people should have the freedom to go to their website if they want. So this is not about, you know, about me being concerned about. Of course, I am concerned about websites I like and things I like having access to being slowed down, or people not having access to it. Of course, that concerns me. But it's not just about that. It's about anyone losing access to anything. And then once they gain all the power, the ones making the profit, they're going to buy shit out. Like, it's going to happen. Like, you should have, as a consumer, you should have the freedom to say, you know what? I want to watch my TV on Netflix. And your Netflix should work at the speed that is required to watch Netflix, and that's it. You pay your internet provider a monthly fee. You pay a monthly fee for Netflix, and that's it. It should end at that. Now it might end at that, or it might not. Now I do know that internet usage has gone up substantially in just the last 3 years. And the type of internet usage has changed dramatically. A lot of it is mobile users, right? A lot of it. But if you don't think for a second that a company that Comcast owns, it's a website that you like, it's going to work a lot slower if you have Verizon rather than somebody else, then you're crazy, and it shouldn't be that way. It should not be that way, man. And then, of course, there's the other thing, porn, right? A lot of you guys are going to lose access to your porn, man. I'm just telling you, right? It's going to happen. Those days are practically over. And let's keep it real. A lot of people use the internet for a lot of stuff, And this is actually, a lot of you guys use the internet as an alternative to paying for television, right? That's just the way it is. Well, that's just, they don't want that. Like, companies like Comcast, Verizon, DirecTV is partnered with AT&T. They still want you to have TV, okay? They want to keep those big advertisers on there, and they're not going to relinquish that until they can control the internet the way they control the TV industry. And if that happens, my God, will that be a fucking mess, right? Could you just imagine if there comes a day where if you want Twitter, you want a Twitter account, sir, that's an extra $2 a month. You want a Facebook, that's an extra $2 a month. Netflix, another $2 a month. Oh, but don't worry, sir, we have this great deal where you could use any streaming service, Netflix or YouTube and stuff like that, for a bundled price of $7.99 a month. Well, ain't I already paying for the fucking internet? No, sir, but this is if you want these extras. And what happens is right now, that's obviously not normal, but they're going to normalize it, right? They're going to normalize it. And 10, 12 years from now, trying to get rid of that, man, it's going to be like pulling teeth, right? Hey, man, I think we should go back to the way it was, like net neutrality. And it's going to be at a point where it's going to be almost impossible to get back to that. Because they're going to have a stranglehold and they're going to have ownership of a lot of websites. You should be able to go to, if you want to go to Amazon.com, eBay, if you want to go to whatever it is, some independent person on the internet to buy shit, you should have that freedom to do so. All right? You should have that freedom. You shouldn't have to deal with a slower lane because, this is not from a bigger corporation that's paying that fee, And believe me, if corporations have to pay an additional fee to be faster, their products they're going to bring those prices on to you. So you may not see it offhand, but that toaster that used to be $29.99 on Amazon is now going to be $31.99. They're going to raise prices on everything. So at the end of the day, who gets screwed? People get screwed. Ordinary people get screwed, right? That's who gets screwed. We could have just kept it the way it was. We just kept it the way it was. But no. These corporations have been lobbying for control of the internet for a long time, right? And ironically, 2016, was a year where everybody was tired of the establishment, right? Oh, we're tired of the establishment. You know, that's why Bernie Sanders and Donald Trump, if we keep it real, that's why those two guys were extremely popular. I think Donald Trump was definitely an opportunist. He told a lot of people what they want to hear. He said that let's drain the swamp. Is he draining it? No. Not at all. He said it's for small businesses, really. Killing net neutrality is the most anti-small business thing you can do. Slowing down somebody's website that brings in their money will impact them more than any fucking tax break will help. Period. And not only that, if you make under $75,000 a year, well, things aren't looking good for you when that tax plan comes in. I'm just letting you know. I'm letting you know that right now. He's gonna get a tax break. You know, I can't even hate on Trump anymore. I just can't. You know, I just can't hate on the guy. I mean, Trump has done everything imaginable for people to just not like him or turn against him, and they still follow him. Like he said it himself. I could shoot somebody in like whatever avenue, and they still wouldn't turn on me. You got to admire his hustle. Like you really do. I don't like the fact that this shit's going on. I think this is terrible. I think the internet should have been protected by law a long time ago, but Obama, didn't do shit when he was in control. And don't give me this bullshit that he was never in control, all right? When he was first elected, he was. But he wanted to play fair. He wanted to play patty cake. He thought, oh, if I work with them, they will all love me in the end. Wrong. Just because Obama did it, like a lot of people were, that's what those few percentage of people that are for killing net neutrality, just because Obama supported net neutrality, they're against. Like it's insane, right? I mean, it's okay to say I think Obama was a terrible president, but I agreed with his net neutrality stance. That is totally possible, Still never I mean, they even it's insane. Like it's insane, and he knows his supporters just eat it up. Like the most petty shit imaginable. That's clear to me that Donald Trump does not understand the internet. Have you ever heard him talk about the internet? He doesn't understand. So it's hard to say whether he's doing this or doing that. But I mean, these are his big donors, man. These are the people that are going to help him get reelected, right? And could you imagine? Because if you don't think, let's just imagine this. Like, I don't know who's going to, let's say it's Bernie Sanders that runs against Donald Trump, right? Now, nobody has really mentioned any of this, but so let's say all these major corporations, because now since they're gutting net neutrality, just think about it. DonaldJTrump.com or Trump2020.com, man, that's probably going to work without any glitches whatsoever. You're going to click Trump2020.com, it's going to come up right away. Donate now, go to BernieSanders.com, feeltheburn2020.com. We're sorry, we're experiencing some technical difficulties. Try again later. If you don't think shit's like that's going to happen, then you're crazy. Okay? Then you're crazy. This is why you don't put power in the hands of corporations that control things that we need. We need the internet for information. This might, believe it or not, we might see a surge in, I'm not saying by a lot or anything, but we might see a surge in printed newspapers. We might just see that. Because printed newspapers might be the only way to get an independent press. You know, that might be the only way. Now, Trump still wants to create more libel laws and stuff like that to be able to sue the press and if they write something he doesn't like about and stuff like that, which would be dangerous. I mean, this is reaching dangerous levels, you know, but it's going to be hard to do that, though. But I think there might be a surge in the printed newspaper, right? You might find that to happen. How many people are going to be willing to boycott the internet service? How many people are going to be willing to do that? Just think about it. Because that's probably the only way we would get rid of something like this without it being an actual law. Not enough people, right? Now, they're going to find themselves in a little bit of a hole here, but we'll see, all right? FCC, man, unbelievable. Let me see some of the comments really quick. Apologize there, guys. What's up, DStyle, says Diesel. Small businesses, schools, and poor people. Yeah. Oh, that's true, yeah. They're going to be impacted without question, right? Without question. This is crazy. Grape Drank 66. I won't be able to watch Sean Ewan anymore. What a shame. Well, I guess there's some good things about this. It's going to make the net shit. He says Red Fox. Yes, it is. Diesel, I will feel bad for the customer service at these internet companies because they will be getting cursed out on a regular. Daniel Quintana, hi all. Daniel Quintana, it's going to court. U.S. citizens can do a lot. Sadly, I live outside the USA. Wish I can help more. No, that's true. Black Latino, what's up, bro? Damn, that's crazy. Not only is Big Brother watching, but he's gaining even more control. Daniel Quintana, YouTube, Facebook, and Netflix can go bankrupt. Yeah, man, it's gonna have a profound impact. No doubt about it. Nice 1984 reference, says Red Fox. Great track, nice profile pic, Danielle. All right. Okay, and no more YTBC, says Red Fox. Daniel Quintana, USA could become a Fallout game in real life. Holy shit, very angry people, I agree. The diesel job turnover will be crazy because nobody's going to want to deal with pissed off customers all the time. Meaning companies will lose money on turnover. Not really, bro. Customer service jobs already have a high turnover rate. So, and they get them out right out of high school too. So that's a lot of people's first job, you know. So get them right out of high school. They might just last a couple months or so, but then a new batch comes in, another batch comes in, and as long as there's unemployed people, there'll always be people applying for that, even if it's temporary. So they're not going to have a problem with that. The elite are flexing their muscles on us these styles just because they can. People don't really understand the effect of this, says Hitman. I agree. Trump has shown the people of the United States that everything they were taught about this country was BS. You can be unknowledgeable about everything, but you can have a gift of gab and money. You can get away with it. DStyleBoxing, what's good, DStyle. We'll see what happens with it. Normal DBC and exposing the truth is, well, look. First of all, this is not going to happen overnight, and as somebody stated, this is going to be taken to court, right? A lot of this is going to go to court, you know. So this is not over, guys. Like it's not like it's not they can't make a decision and then the next day. Like everything has a process, And the good news is that big corporations that are big right now, like Google, YouTube, Amazon, that depend on that made their money out of the internet. If it wasn't for net neutrality, which that's what it's always been, it's just net neutrality just became an official term to keep it the way it is, right? And it was in response to these companies wanted to have this type of control. But let me see here. Apologize, guys. There we go. So that's what it used to be. All right? That's what it used to be. But it's not going to happen overnight. We're going to go to court. So we're going to see what happens. But a lot of these companies, and that's the point I was going to make, a lot of these companies make their name out of just the free internet. That's how Facebook became big. That's how Twitter became big. That's how Amazon, all these companies, they started as a small company, and then they grew to profitable organizations, and they understand more than everybody the impact that net neutrality could have. That basically means it'll be almost impossible for anyone to be an upstart without having to pay the bribes on the way, and that's crazy, that is insane, but Google, I'm not sure about Facebook, but I believe they are in. But most of these big corporations that are big in the internet right now, big as we know it, are definitely fighting this. They don't want, Google, Amazon, they don't care who you have internet with. Like once you have internet, you're their customer by default. So they're winning the way it is now. Like they have no horse in the race as far as who you have internet with. They don't care, right? If you buy something on Amazon, they don't care if it came from your service provider being Comcast or Earthlink, or like they don't give a shit. So at the end of the day, they want to keep it the way it is. This is going to go to court. We'll see how it goes down. Like we're going to see how this goes down here, right? We're going to see how it goes down in court. What's going to be interesting is the following, and I could totally see this being done. And I do believe that in the courts, they're going to bring up the argument of, look, the problem with the free internet is that little kids, they go to the internet and they go to Pornhub.com, and nobody's stopping that. You can't just turn on your television and see porn on TV, right? So we have to regulate this, right? Now, the problem with that is it's not the corporations that should regulate that. The government should regulate that. The government should make regulations. Net neutrality was a regulation, right? Which was good for everybody. But they're going to be using stuff like that, and they may not, look, the FCC, it may not get everything they want out of this, okay? These corporations may not get everything, but they're going to get enough, Like they're asking for the world, and they might get 4 continents, but it's still a lot. So we're going to see how that's going to go, right? Now, I will say in response is there is already a way to censor certain websites yourself, right? That already exists, okay? Like people with kids that don't want their kids to have access to porn websites and stuff like that. There is already a way to censor these types of websites, okay? And if a website's deemed, XXX, right, then I do agree that there should be a way to block those websites or regulate them, but the problem is that that's a wolf in sheep's clothing. That's an argument they're going to use. In reality, what they want to be able to control everything, Like if they have control in a vague sense. So for example, well, don't worry, we're not going to allow Comcast to slow anyone down unless they do something that's deemed inappropriate. Well, what's deemed inappropriate? So if one YouTuber does something inappropriate in an entire website, then that's it. We can slow down YouTube. Like, you know, that is crazy. That is crazy. I say just keep it the way it is. Just keep it the way it fucking is, right? And but what are you gonna do? All right, let's see here. Red Fox, what's the rationale in getting rid of it? Well, there is no rational explanation for anyone who's not in these corporations, okay? But to answer your question, the rationale that's being used is, I know it's going to sound extraordinary. It really is, all right? But they're lying. They're flat out lying. Like they're lying to people. Like they're saying that they're the ones that are for net neutrality. And that it's the government that, you know, these corporations know that certain words trigger people. Like if you want to trigger a conservative, just say the government, or just say words like regulation. And they're against it. Like, you know, 50% of them, oh, that's it, I'm against it. Well, why? You don't know what it is. Yeah, but, you know, big government and the fucking regulations and well, you know how they are. Like, you know, that's an issue, right? It makes sense from a business standpoint why Comcast, for example, which is an internet provider, okay, or Time Warner, right, or stuff like that. It makes sense why they, Spectrum, right? It makes sense why they want it because it gives them complete control. They'll become the gatekeepers of the internet. Like if you want whatever it is that you want, you have to pay extra for. That's more money in their pockets. You know, who's going to fork up more in bribes? And we're going to make your website faster. And whoever doesn't fork up, we're going to make them slower. And that'll give them complete control. They'll make more money, right? That's not good for the consumer. That's not good for me. That's not good for you. And they know that, so they lie, right? That's what they do. They lie to people. They're not going to say that. They're going to say, oh, these laws by the government. Net neutrality means that the government is controlling your internet. Like, and that's not even true, right? No, I'm not excusing like the government spying on American citizens and stuff like that. That's another issue altogether. That is a problem, okay? But they're still going to do that regardless. That's going to happen nonetheless, right? But that's what it comes down to. They obviously, you know, they're obviously lying about the reasons why, and they present it to people as an anti-government way of running the internet. And they're the best way I could put it is most people that are for this net neutrality are very, very confused. Like they think that that the FCC is trying to get control of the internet, and it's the corporations that want to keep it the same. Like they have it backwards, and that's just flat out not true. Red Fox says, and no X exert some control about who gets put out on the web. Damn, it's like they slowly smash it free speech. First the PC shit on YouTube, now this. Yeah, it's gonna get bad. But again, there is still hope, right? Like, and what I mean by that is, this is not gonna happen overnight, right? It's not like you're not gonna wake up tomorrow and you don't have access to your favorite website, right? It's not gonna happen overnight. But so you're a small business owner, all that. I do suggest planning accordingly, right? I'm not saying, oh, that's it, get rid of your small business online. It's no good anymore, right? While you can use it, of course. But know that there's things that you can do, right? Um, Several things you can do. I'm not saying it will work. I'm not saying, like, so don't come back to me and be like, I did this shit and it didn't work, DStyle. But you could call your congressman, let them know. Get a bunch of people to call your congressman. And if we have enough people in Congress there's already been some Republicans, not a lot, but some, that are voicing their concern about getting rid of net neutrality. So we can get more of them to do it. And it becomes political suicide to get rid of it. There's some midterms coming up. Then maybe, just maybe, it can be halted for a while, right? So I think that's the most effective thing you can do. You know, if anything, it's still going to go to court. This might even end up going all the way to the Supreme Court, and that might take a while, right? A couple months. So we still have time. Like, you know what I mean? We still have time. A lot of things could change during that time. Another thing you can do is, if you find somebody that's for net neutrality, is educate them. The more people that wake up from this damn sleep that they're in, but I don't care if they're a Trump supporter or not, right? You could even tell a Trump supporter, hey, look, we're going to disagree on Donald Trump. But come on, let me tell you what the net neutrality thing is and how it's going to affect you. Forget the fake news and forget the, CNN and Trump feuding and forget all that bullshit. Just, I don't know. That's all you can really do. I mean, hopefully some of them will wake up to what's going on with this. Like, I don't give a shit if they favor Trump on everything else. Okay? I don't care if they're for the fucking wall. I don't care if they're for the tax code being changed for the rich. And I don't give a fuck about any of that. As long as this one thing, right? If on this one thing they could say, oh, no, hold on. And if there's enough Trump supporters that say, hey, we don't want to get rid of this net neutrality thing, then maybe, because let's be honest, Trump isn't exactly like a man of his convictions, so he might just turn around and say, you know what? Now that I've looked more into it and talked to my advisors, I've decided that we're going to keep the net neutrality thing after all, and if he gets credit for it, I'll give him credit for it, whatever. Okay, but as long as it stays the way it is, but that's a long shot. The more effective thing is going to your congressman directly. If being pro net neutrality means in the midterm, that's something that they're going to have to run on. Now, whether they live up to it after the election is another story altogether, but you got to give yourself a shot. So that's what it's going to honestly come down to, right? It's going to come down to that. So we'll see. It's going to go to, it should never have gotten to this point, but we'll see, man. We'll see. It's probably going to go all the way to the Supreme Court, and that's where Supreme Court judges matter. That's where the Obama not being able to pick a Supreme Court for like half a year or a year, whatever it was, which should have been his pick, but it went to Obama to Trump because he won the election and the Republicans had power, right? That's where that vote might matter, That's where it might just matter. We'll see. Is Congress going to do anything about this? Probably not. So we'll see, man. This is it's going to be a hard-fought battle in courts, that's for sure, because there are corporations with money, with very good lawyers, that are going to be fighting this. So this is not over by a long shot, right? Red Fox, it could be repealed. So yes, they can reverse that decision. So just because the FCC says, okay, we're getting rid of net neutrality, they can be sued, or not sued, but they could be taken to court for that, right? And a district judge will kind of go over that. And depending on what happens there, the FCC or the people on the other end of things, may take it to a higher court, and eventually get to the Supreme Court. So it's going to be a process, right? So to give you an example, although it's not exactly the same thing, but it's kind of similar. When Donald Trump did the Muslim ban, on certain countries. Now you would think, well, he's the president of the United States, he can do it. Like he did the executive order, blah, 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 blah. Well, the ACLU took him to court for that. So they went to court, and the judges ruled in favor or against, that is, Donald Trump. So they did not, in fact, pass he had to kind of tone down a lot of what he did. And I'm not sure what kind of happened with that, but he definitely was not able to ban Muslims from coming in. It's crazy to think he almost did it, but it has to be approved by the courts. It's just like anything. When Obama passed, when Congress and Obama passed Obamacare, right, the Affordable Care Act, sure, it was put into law, but then it was taken to court, deemed unconstitutional, and Supreme Court had to vote on it, and they voted in favor of Obamacare, so that's why it's a law now. So everything you get rid of or anything you add can be taken to court, so that's why we have a 3-branch government. And we're going to see here with this FCC thing, my only concern is that I'm not sure how much judges and old ass farts in a bench know about the internet and stuff like that. So, well, we'll see. Do these 80-year-old congressmen know what it is? Better yet, do they care? They were just trying to take healthcare away from people. Well, I was just talking about old ass judges, and you're right. I don't know how many of these old ass congressmen know or care, but you're right. I mean, I did say it's a long shot, I know I'm not part of the U.S., but any petition that needs signing, show it. Well, I don't have access to it right now, but what I'll do is I'll get a little more information on what people can do, and I'll do a video about it tomorrow, right? Including petitions and stuff like that. I think that's very, very important. It's going to be interesting how all this is going to work, man. It's crazy. Anyways, guys, just wanted to do a quick video about that. I think this sucks. I think this is terrible, but it's not over. All right, it's not over by a long shot. It's going to be extended, and it's gonna. We'll see. We'll see where it goes, but it's going to be very, very interesting to see where a lot of this goes, man. We'll see. All right, this is DStyle. I'm out.